Go upstairs. Yeah, go upstairs. I gotta do a video conference. Here. Oh. Mommy will have a show upstairs for you. Okay. Pictures of Mama, okay?
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
It's good. How are you?
Hey, good. I think Nancy needed help setting it up, so.
Yeah.
You know if this is our last week doing this, or?
I have no idea. I was just about to look.
Yeah, I have no idea. Go upstairs. Grab some things.
Yeah, I don't know what he wants us to do because, like, we don't have, like, everybody's gone twice, so I don't know if we just, like...
Keep doing it or not, or...
Yeah.
Here, we gotta go upstairs.
What's up?
Hey.
Man, there was like a flash flood warning this morning, and like our basement flooded.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
And like, physically, like, east out or whatever, because it's like an underground basement. Like, we had cleared them all out and stuff, but there was like 3, like, I literally went out and like took a bag out because I thought someone had done it, and like there was like 3 little leaves just like barely covering it. Like there wasn't even a ton of leaves, but the water was like all the way filled. Like the door is here, and like the water was like filled up to here, and like it was all over. Yeah.
So this is kind of weird when no one needs to be the lead, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we just supposed to have a discussion?
Yeah, I guess we can just have a discussion.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants us to, because like since there's no lead, nobody would like turn in like the leader assignment. But I don't know if that matters to him since we've all gone twice.
Yeah. Maybe we should.
I don't think that. I don't. Like, we could ignore him, but I don't think that we have to.
Yeah.
I seem to remember, like, at the beginning of the semester, he said, like, once we've all gone twice, like, we still have to have the discussions, but no one has to do the meeting or whatever, or the assignment.
Okay.
And we don't have any more doohickeys, do we? I'm just trying to see.
There's one
Is
more.
there one more?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm, like, having a difficulty finding, like, more problems, though. To be honest.
I know.
I'm just like, I don't even know, like, what to write about for this one, so.
Yeah. I guess we just write about what we're studying. So, like, this week is Leia.
Yeah, I mean, they could lay off people, but to be honest, I just think the management is horrible, so. Like,
Yeah,
no one
right.
has been trained. So if you were to implement all the other suggestions that were made, then I don't really think that there would be a need to lay off anyone.
Yeah.
Like, if all those changes were made. But that is just my opinion.
Yeah. I like the furlough idea, though. I actually worked for a company that did that, and they needed to cut costs, so everybody took 2 weeks off without pay.
Oh,
Instead of, laying off anybody.
Sorry, I'm just opening up.
No. Oh.
So should we just start going?
Yeah.
All right. So in the instructions for the discussion leader, it just says, ask one person on your team to explain the employment at will and the exceptions. Make sure the group understands the exceptions. So can someone kind of explain employment at will and kind of what that means? Like Idaho is employment at will, where you can fire anybody for kind of any reason, and it's kind of tricky because if you have a federal company, a company that covers multiple states, then you got to be aware of the individual states' rights and then also the federal laws. So, like at UPS, you just can't fire someone in Idaho just at will because we cover in different states with different laws. But if it was a small business in Idaho, the owner could fire anybody for basically any reason. You guys have any thoughts on that?
What if when you were hired, you sign up a paper saying that, because it happens to me before, that they can fire you for any reason at any time, and they can just get rid of you, and you are in Utah where they don't have a will. Just because you sign it, you don't have the right to
Yeah, I think you could actually probably fight that contract because they can't overstep the law.
Oh, okay. Even if you sign it or anything.
Yeah. A lot of businesses will do kind of contracts to kind of try to keep people, can fire them or whatever, but they actually really can't do that. So.
Is the employment at will, is that the same thing as like the right to work states?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I cut someone off.
I was just trying to review it real quick. But yeah, I'm trying to see what the limitations are.
And then I'll read the 3 exceptions, or there's 4 exceptions. There's a breach of implied contract. This is a contract between the employer and the employee that is created by the actions of the employer. The employer could imply that the employee will have continued employment by making statements about how well the employee is doing. The employer could also create an implied contract through an employment manual that details termination practices. For example, a 3-strike policy that says they have to give you notice before firing. I think this is kind of what we're talking about with Litz about a contract, but I don't think they can do a contract on just we can fire you for no matter what. I think there has to be limitations on what the employee has to do. The other 3 are breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. This could come into play when the employer unclearly tries to avoid doing what they agreed to do under the contract by terminating the employee. There's also the violation of public policy, discrimination statuses. That's basically Title IX, national origin, gender, religion. Anyone have any thoughts on any of those, or should we just move on to the next section?
We can move on to the next section.
All right, step 2. What should the manager do? What do you guys think about the Terry situation? Should they fire him? Should they put him on the 2.5, or do what the upper management wants and keep him at a 3 because he's a scuba diver instructor and he's good with parties?
I think you have to still follow policy, though.
This isn't a broken up, right?
Right.
I was reading that, but it's so true in like some businesses, or if someone's just socially just buddies with everybody, they seem to be more lax with them, and then the less social people, they kind of get bullied around and fired. So
They probably do help with morale of the company and stuff, so there's probably like some benefits that the company appreciates from him, but
yeah,
I don't know.
It just sounds like he's not really helping the company that much, because like it talked about how a lot other people would have to fill in the blanks or like fill in what he didn't do, and like I don't know, just doesn't sound like he's doing very much.
And they said if he failed, they put him on projects that didn't matter.
Yeah.
he threw the trash away and cleaned up after lunch. I guess the first topic is financial obligation. What impact does Terry and Phil have on the company's bottom line?
Yeah. Definitely not.
Very minimal. I think they even didn't. Terry go around asking people what to do and just would write it down. He couldn't come up with his own thoughts. Yeah, so I think he's actually taking other people from their work. So I guess Terry could be hurting the bottom line.
Yeah.
And then the second one in the financial is, what obligations does the manager have to the company based on that information? According to the manager, Terry makes no contribution, so all of his salary benefits are pure costs. In a company that's only making $300,000 in a year, Phil seems to be less of a financial liability.
Yeah.
So how much does the manager need to worry about the finances of the company or keeping the mood of the company? What's kind of the balance of that?
I think you have to see if they're contributing financially to the company.
Yeah, well, the manager is in charge of it sounds like she's in charge of this one section of the company, and like she's over these people, and if Terry's not really contributing, then I don't see why. I mean, I understand like the upper managers like Terry, and like that he is like their friend, but since he's not contributing to that section of the company, maybe they could try to see if he would work better at a different job, doing something else. I don't know, but just where he's at right now is not helping.
Are we talking about Phil now? I'm sorry.
We're talking about Phil and Terry. We'll talk about both of them. It was just kind of open-ended on either of them.
Because it's kind of sad for Phil that the managers don't like him, but he's still trying to do a good job. And he's sick, it sounds like. So.
And it's hard because Phil's company was bought, and so he was a manager of a call center, which he was comfortable at. And then now he has to be more of a data, engineer kind of guy. He has no training, and Terry doesn't have any background in that. And so if they're going to keep him, I think they might send him to school or send him to training so they can be an asset.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if the management forces them to keep them,
Yeah, that's good.
if not, they should, you know, put them on the 2-5 and
I think, well, reading upon this more, it looks like he is really sick with liver disease. So they probably have to keep him, don't you think?
oh, definitely.
Mhm.
He's on disability, and I
That
think
lawsuit-
legally.
But then I think he came back to the company and he said that he didn't have like any health problems, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did come back after, and
Okay,
he's better.
So that's the second part of this is what legal obligation do they have to Terry and Phil?
I think Phil, like, I don't think that if he did want to do a lawsuit or something, you know, about if he did get fired or something, then like, I don't really think that he has like much of a basis to go off of because he was sick. Just because like all the employees and everyone tried to keep him on, like when he was sick, and it was literally just his performance that is the reason why like he's getting fired.
There is a issue of if his performance records were at 3 every time for 6 years, and then he gets sick, and then they give him a 2-5, I could see them coming back to court and saying, hey, how come I was good all the way, and so I get sick, and now you guys rate me lower, you know. I don't know. Just trying to be devil's advocate, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No,
because
you're
it
right.
kind of seems like once you're sick, how are you going to perform well? Because you're on disability. And, you know, it seems like that's
Is
a
there
double-edged.
not enough time for him to get back and get things rolling again?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
But
hard.
it does say that he was worse than even the old Phil in performance. So that's interesting. But he could probably, I don't know, he might have a case because it was only a short time after he got back.
Right when he gets back, they want to put him on the PIP list and get rid of him. So he might be able to have kind of a case.
Yeah.
All right. So what ethical obligations do they have to Terry and Phil, or to the company? Like what ethically? Like what? You know, what should they do?
I feel like more ethically towards Phil, you should try to help him get back on his feet. But
Yeah.
I think they're kind of in trouble because they've not been ethical this whole time in the review process. You know, they are kind of stuck in their lies and where they actually are.
yeah.
If you give a rating and they're actually not at that rating, you know, then you're lying. You're hurting the business. You're hurting the company. You know, so I think ethically they need to rate them as they are. You know, but that's kind of hard. Anyone else have any thoughts on that before we move to the next section? No.
Well, ethically, we're answering like to the company, to other employees, and to herself, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think to herself, like for the company, they need to start rating things correctly. But to herself, ethically, I feel like, because she sees it and she's like, okay, these people are they're not performing very well. Like, I see this. She doesn't want to make the managers angry, but she also wants to do the right thing. So I think to herself, she should tell the managers, okay, this is what I think, and do what she thinks is right too, so that she's not.
And communicate how they're actually performing.
Yeah.
And say they've always performed this way, but we've always kind of gave them a free ride.
Yeah.
And even one of I think it was it Phil, where if you don't promote within 3 years, they kind of fire you at this company, and he's been there for 6 years. So, I mean, they either got to work for him to get a promotion or they got to kind of fire him. The note that they said after this section is Terry could be dangerous. Top management wants to retain, has been given high scores in the past. Is it ethical to terminate out of the blue, etc.? And then for Phil, they kind of say thinks he should get a promotion. His group has been rallying around him during his illness. How would terminating him impact morale on the rest of the employees?
Yeah, if there was a way to get them to like voluntarily leave, then like that would be the best.
Yeah.
You know, but my thing was how much of is the bottom line hurting? It seems like the company's growing. You know, are they firing them? You know, what's the need to fire them? You know, did they need to make a cut? I didn't understand if that was a situation, or is it just they just noticed they weren't performing, so they should just fire them?
Well, I think they like hired one of them as like the guy that was sick. He had a replacement hired for him or whatever, so he's just like extra and just like costing the company money. And so
They might not be hurting on the bottom line, but they might be trying to just save money and like try to cut costs.
Right. Okay. No, definitely. I was just curious, like, what their reasoning was.
I think he just wants she wants her team to just like all be productive and like not have like, you know, someone weighing it down or whatever.
Right.
And so I think she's just, you know, being super enthusiastic and, you know, wants to team nest, more or less, you know. But having those people who are just taking up time and being a distraction just aren't helping.
Just kind of a weight, you know, that everyone has to pull.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move to the next section, step 3, analysis of companies' HR practices. So how well do you guys feel that in this case that HR, how their practices are? What's your overall feeling for HR with this company?
It seemed like they used the PIPs or whatever, but like I was confused as to like what their actual policy was.
Right. Well, it's kind of weird. They if you're not doing well, they fire you. You know, it's like if you're not doing well, why not train them? You know, it just seemed like, okay, let's put him on the PIP list. Wink, wink. He's fired. You know? Like that seems insane. You know, don't mess up or you're gone. So
yeah. But I do think that she did really try and train these people. Or like, I mean, it says she did. Like when she got into the position, she tried.
She tried to tell them, you know, you got to come up with your own ideas. I just think they're in the wrong position for their skill sets.
Yeah.
You know, they have no experience, no skill or knowledge. So I guess HR needs to come up with, you know, more sound guidelines, and because we're all kind of confused on the role of HR in this case. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't seem like they were really there.
So how did you guys like how they hired people?
Like 5 rounds of people for interviews.
And then no matter what they say, they can hire whoever?
Yeah, that sounds kind of, because wasn't it Terry who, or was it was one of them that went through all the rounds and failed all of them, but they still hired him.
Yeah, he was a fun scuba instructor. He's good for the company party.
Yeah.
It sounded like he did good in the other job he got finally, because he was better at math and stuff. So.
No, that's true. I do like kind of the, you know, have multiple people kind of interview them and kind of give their, you know, insights, but I think they have to listen to them. If they all say no and then you go over their head and hire somebody. I think that's kind of, why have those 5 people?
Yeah, exactly.
Have you guys ever had an interview with multiple, like 5 people or anything like that?
No.
No.
No, me either.
I've only had one where I did it with HR and then I did it with the business manager.
Manager.
I think that'd be kind of intimidating to kind of interview with 5 people.
It'd be so stressful.
I'd be so stressed out.
I would fail that interview so fast.
But I guess in this business, it doesn't matter if you fail. Maybe if you fail, you get the job.
Yeah, maybe if you just seem fun enough.
You just got to be so much fun. He'd suck at the job, but great at the party. So
Yeah.
we got a new strategy for our future interviews, right? Is this what you did for your interview, Kathleen? Or didn't you have an interview like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
You just going with the big party?
Yep, you know it.
Yeah, right.
I like froze up during my interview. Like she asked me like the most basic question, and I was like, I didn't stutter, but I just didn't answer. I was like trying to think, and like then I realized that like I was trying to think, but I was trying to think too hard that I wasn't actually thinking about it. I was just like, she just asked me a question. I need to answer this. It was so. I was like, this is the worst.
I did.
Other than that, it went well.
I bet you did great.
I got the job, so.
Oh, that's awesome. I do some interviews for guys just loading trailers, and my boss actually got mad at me because he's like, "Why are you doing like intense interviews? You're freaking these people out. All they do is load a trailer."
You're freaking these people out.
I don't know. I kind of get too serious. I just thought I was just talking to him, but he's like, "You gotta relax a little bit. You're freaking them out." So,
I think it's good though because like, I mean, it helps you learn and like if you go to another job or whatever, be a little bit quicker to answer and stuff.
It kind of goes both ways. The person interviewing is also nervous.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What's the next? So how do you guys feel that they manage their the work group and how feedback is how they respond to feedback?
Well, if they would grade them correctly, then they would get honest feedback on how they were doing. So then they'd be able to do better. Like, they'd be able to know where they stand.
It's crazy because I gotta do feedback for the guys I work that work for me, and I have to come up with 7 things that they do wrong. Like,
wow.
I have to find 7 things, and it's like that's a crazy policy, But my boss told me that it's because we don't want everyone to. They need to get better. The only way to get better is to give them, honest feedback. But I'm like, I can't come up with 7 things,
That's tough.
So it's kind of crazy how this case, it seems like they don't give any real feedback.
Yeah.
They just say they do a great job, but then I'm in a business where we give so much negative feedback that it kind of defeats the people. So, there's got to be a little middle ground there.
Yeah, I think it's just easier to tell people, oh, you're doing great, because trying to think of like things that they can do better at can be kind of hard sometimes.
We really are.
And the hard thing too is like it's on their record then. Like my boss was telling me she doesn't like to do a lot of negative stuff on people's records. She's really nice, that way, but especially when everything's online now. So then it's like permanently on your record, like, oh, they're not good at this or whatever,
You get another job opportunity. You're asked, oh, can you just send some performance records? And then boom, it's stained with all these negatives. It's like, well, maybe we don't want this person, even though you're an all-star.
Yeah. And it might just be like that happened one day or,
Yeah. No,
my husband was telling me about a problem they have now in the company. looks like this guy is he's a problem right now. But the same happened. The reviews, the annual reviews and everything, they're just perfect. Just because the manager is so lazy to rate it correctly. So now this guy wants to lawsuit the company, and they don't have any backup of his performance, and it's getting bigger. This problem is getting bigger because the manager was just too lazy to put, you need to improve, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
I think there has to be a balance, though.
Mm.
You can't just put negatives.
It's just, you just got to be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
If there's things that you need to improve on, put them down.
And then there's always, I think every employee always have to improve. We're not perfect.
That's true. And it probably does look kind of fishy if you don't have any negatives.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just hard because it's just, if you start cutting corners one way and then, oh wait, we want to get rid of this guy, that's when legally you get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of hard. The next thing is, do you think the manager can make good decisions about these two individuals, or does she seem to be influenced by biases that will be hard to overcome?
I think she'll be able to make a good decision. I think that she sees that the top managers want to influence the company this way, but I feel like she would stand up for what she thinks is right. I mean, even if it is like going against what the top managers would, but I think she would at least like communicate what she wants.
Yeah.
I think she's gonna have to just document kind of everything that's going on, because upper management doesn't know that there's something wrong. They just see that the team is getting good results, so Terry's doing good, so the team's doing well, Phil's doing good, but there's no records of them doing poorly. There's no, oh, Phil never came up with his own idea, or Terry, he just asked people. Upper management doesn't know that. So that's what you kind of have to doc reviews.
One thing that I read was that upper management didn't like Phil because he went against what they wanted or something, or disagreed with them, and so that, I don't know, that's something concerning. Like if they try to push someone out just because you disagree.
Kind of the good boys club going on there.
Yeah. So that's something she would have to think about, because that she may get on their bad side too.
And she'll be on the PIP list.
Yeah.
I think just because of how well her performance is, I don't really know if, like how good she is at her job. I don't know if they would really like want to fire her for that. But I mean, she could get on their bad side for sure. But or they could just think she's just like another young. And just kind of like stuck up or whatever, like, oh, he's not good enough, But.
And maybe this company isn't right for her. Maybe she needs to go to a place where they listen to her and that she can manage. Because it seems like right now they're kind of influencing how she manages. She wants to do it the right way, but upper management is kind of like, no, we like that guy, but we don't like that guy.
Right.
Get rid of that guy. It's like, no, that's not how we do it. All right, we'll go to step 4, the final decision. All right, so what do you guys think? Should we fire Phil or Terry, or what should we do?
I think they both need to get a bad review, or it's not going to be documented. So, they need to be honest about how they're doing.
I think they should do. I think she should just have open communication. I mean, I feel like she should rate them to what she thinks that they earn and talk to them and be like, hey, like, this is where you're at right now. Like, let me, like, is there anything that we can do to help you learn more about the job? Like, do more training, like what you said. Or just tell him, hey, like, you're not doing very good at the job. Maybe, like, maybe there's a better job for you that you could do better at, or I don't know, just, I feel like just talking and like having that communication so that they don't feel like you're going behind their back and like, oh, you got this horrible grade, now we're gonna fire you. Like,
try and give them different options and stuff that
yeah,
would be better for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it can be a good feeling to be one of the worst performers on a team. And
Yeah.
they probably realize that as well. So
I would kind of show them the bell curve and say, hey, this is where you are. This is where we need to be. If you don't get there next quarter, you're getting the 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Kind of set a goal for them. So
Yeah.
I'd say, hey, I believe in you. Whatever tool you need, I'm here for you. Let's get up there. If you're not there, you get the 2.5. After the 2.5, then you're on the PIP. And
Yeah.
after PIP, no scuba parties. So that's how we're going, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they may not know that they're below their numbers. You know, maybe they think, oh, our team's doing great. We're doing okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, all right. So do you guys have any creative options that also might work for these two? I don't know if there's any creative options for them to improve their work, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Either they kind of do it or they don't. Or maybe, you know, find a gardening, maybe the business center has a garden area and Terry can cover that
Yeah.
since he's the master gardener. So, I don't know.
Start a scuba diving club.
Yeah, start a stress relief from
Yeah.
club or something like that. So
Social
Yeah.
club.
yeah, social time, social hour with Terry. Yeah. All right. So the rest of the story. Oh, I guess there's a part 2. Has everyone seen that? I haven't read that yet.
I haven't read it either.
I read it just a minute ago.
Oh, can you give us kind of just a
Yeah, she just she talked to Terry and said, "I'm giving you a 2.5, but I don't want to put you on PIP."
Huh?
and then she helped him. She gave him like 3 months, more or less, to like get a new job or like, you know, have him look for a new job. And then he could leave without being on PIP and wouldn't like look bad or whatever. And then they could have a party and just, you know, like he would just be leaving that company.
kind of on good terms?
And I believe it says that he found a new job and it was in like a more purely like engineering company or something, like, so like not like
The data and
yeah. So, and he did really well as he was a manager. He was promoted to a manager. And then Phil,
Can you guys hear me? Because I think I locked up a little bit.
yeah.
yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, so did you hear about Phil? How they kept him on, but he ended up dying. He got sick again.
Oh no.
But which is a good thing, I think. Yeah.
Well, they gave him a 3, and then he moved departments to the international team, which no one likes to work on the international team, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a free slot there, or he was a free slot, so they took him because no one liked to work, like do the job. And then he continued to get 3s and work there, and then he died of inoperable brain cancer.
Oh, that's horrible.
That's so sad.
That's so sad. Yeah.
But I thought those were good choices because he probably needed that insurance and everything. And
Mhm.
Well, I think she understood that they needed to be moved from the current teams they were on.
hmm
They were definitely assets that could perform. They just weren't in the right position.
Mhm.
What do you guys feel like was effective and not effective about what she did?
I
Well, I
mean,
think-
she still lied about his performance review, so that's not really effective in the long run. But I mean, I see why she did it.
Yeah.
so, which one are you talking about, Phil or Terry?
Phil.
For Terry, I think she did really good. Like, I think the way that she handled it was very very professional. Like, she was like, hey, I don't want to put you on PIP, but you're not performing well, so like, here are your options. Search for another job in the company that would best like suit your talents, or like find another job. And I liked how when I was skimming through it, it was like he asked how long he had. He was like, well, how long do I have to find this other job? And she was like, well, I'm not going to put a time on it. Like, maybe 3 months might be, like, maybe 3 months, but I'm not going to put like a deadline on it. You'll know when you have been searching long enough to find another job. So I like that it was kind of like forcing him to get another job, but not like just totally dropping him out flat. So it was good.
I agree with that. I think she did really well. Like, her communication skills are excellent, and the way she was able to get that across.
Mhm.
And I really liked how she kind of was in the interest of her employee. The easy thing that she could have done is, all right, you're not performing, PIP, see you later. That's kind of the easy way out. But she really saw the interest of the employee and said, hey, you're not performing, let's figure a place where you can succeed and thrive. And I think she'll build morale with her team if they knew she did that, and she's not just there to fire.
Yeah.
I have I cut someone off.
I was just saying, just to add on to that, I feel like because she did it the way that she did, people will see her not as like somebody who's gonna fire them if they do bad, but somebody who work with them and like give them a shot.
Yeah, I have a boss who comes in, and when you see him, he's firing someone. He's kind of the guy that comes in. You never see him, but when you see him, he's like, all right, this guy, stay away from the office today, call him sick or whatever. But it kills morale. No one wants to talk to this guy. But I mean, it's part of his job is to do that. But his interest isn't in the employee. His interest isn't for growth. His is just to eliminate a bad workforce. And I think the mindset that this lady has is a lot more effective than just laying people off. You know what I mean? Instead of instilling fear with people, you kind of build them up and say, hey, this is not effective right now. Let's improve, or let's get another job. Here's a time frame that we have. You choose, I think she did a really good job with that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do the final wrap up. What do you guys learn about termination and this discussion?
You have to document accurately.
Just the importance of like having good communication and just being open, like with your employees.
Oh, definitely.
Because she could have easily taken the side of the company and just been like, well, you're not really performing well, out of here. And I think that's what some companies do. Like, you're not performing well, let's get you out of here. But, she was just like, well, you're not performing well, do you really want to be part of this team? Like, you know, is there something that would be a better fit? So I just think that's like super important.
And she
Yeah,
showed
especially with her personality, because I think she was type A and wanted to, you know, super perform well. So I bet that was even harder for her to do that.
And you will never think that the person that it's firing, it's it feels sick too.
Mhm.
When I was reading the papers last night, it's like it's tough for them too. Sometimes we feel that the people that needs fire, it's hard, but the person who is firing, it's tough too.
Mhm.
So
I think she showed a lot of backbone too, kind of not going against upper management, but just sticking to her guns and doing her job.
Yeah,
So I thought that was pretty impressive.
standing up for what she thought was right.
Yeah. I guess we're done with this. I put the new doohickey up. I didn't know what the third section, what it needed to be, because the last kind of chapter for us, L14, is just the conclusion. So we're gonna have to just stretch this one out a little bit.
Hmm.
I clicked on the link for it, and it says that I need permission.
You've not. Oh shoot! Did I block everyone out? That's useful. Let me. I'm definitely not gonna do the whole paper, so let me fix that.
So we just need to come up with some problems that may not be on our lesson. So
Right. The first two should be layoffs, and then there's I forget the next section, but then the third one will have to be kind of creative.
okay.
Okay, I'll send that out. I wonder why it's all blocked out.
Did he grade the other one yet?
Not yet. He's a little bit slower on the grading.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. See if you guys can open it now.
Yeah.
And then, do you guys feel like how we kind of structure it is fair? Everyone gets opportunity, and
yeah,
so
Mhm.
okay.
Do you feel like that, Andrew? Because you do a lot of wrap up with it and opening.
I'm kind of weird. I like doing the wrap up, so
Okay.
I like doing the conclusion and editing, and so
Okay.
it might be my type A, but I turn it in. I'm kind of weird, so.
Okay.
But if someone else wants to do it, I don't want to just.
As long as you feel good about it, I just didn't want you to feel like you were put upon too much.
Oh no, I love doing it, so
Okay.
I really don't mind it. Well, it's nice because this group, you guys do all your work early. I have another
I'd rather
group.
not be stressed about it at the end.
I have another group where on Saturday night I'm calling them like, "Hey, get your stuff done. You know, what are you
We
doing?
gotta turn it in.
I got to turn it in." You know, like they're like, "Dude,
Okay.
calm down."
Yeah. I'm happy this group isn't like this. This is like my last semester. Guys, 2 more weeks.
Oh my goodness. Can't wait.
Gotta
I'm so
celebrate.
exhausted right now. I'm really tired.
I know. I'm like done.
are you guys taking any class during the summer term?
No.
You're done.
Not ever.
I have one more semester, so
No, Jay.
Uno mas.
I have another year, but I'm taking this summer off.
Yeah, summer at
So.
school should not be allowed.
I think that's like when I just got burnt out, was like going fall, winter, spring, and then summer, fall, winter, spring.
Yeah.
And then I just like, I felt like the past like couple years of my life, I'm just like, what? I use school as an excuse so much to get out of doing stuff, or not to get out, but like because I can't do stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm doing schoolwork, or I'm doing school, and now doing what's funny is like though sometimes like I just don't want to be sociable because like all I do is schoolwork and like go to the gym and work. That like sometimes I just want to go to bed early, you know. So
Yeah.
like I'll tell people that I have schoolwork just because like I'm just like, well, I have schoolwork. I mean, I do. Like there's never a time I don't have it, but like I just want to sleep. So
They say part of learning is actually getting enough sleep. Your brain cycles through, so I mean, it's a perfect excuse. So
yeah.
definitely.
Oh, when I don't get enough sleep and I try and do homework, it doesn't even what I write doesn't even make sense half the time.
They say
I don't like these holiday weeks because I get behind and it's like, ugh.
one of my classes, I had four case studies due on 4th of July. I'm like,
Wow.
No.
who does that? Come on.
Yeah, I was out of town and I would have been in big trouble.
That fireworks to shoot, you know.
Well, okay, guys, I'm gonna.
So are we meeting at same time next or Tuesdays? Are we meeting on Tuesday?
What day works for you guys? I'm good next week.
Yeah, Tuesday works for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Tuesday's good for me too.
All right.
Tuesday.
I think this is our last meeting as well, correct?
I think so.
Yeah, next week. Yeah, there's one. So next week was the last one.
I mean, we could always get together after that, you know, do some doohickey stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.